Hi, Debbie with Wrestling in 60 Seconds, bringing you news from the media brief. Yes. I've been trying to cut this down. I've gone from 10 minutes to 8, so please bear with me. Tony Khan talked about Full Gear. He just wanted it to stay with Full Gear, and it lasted over an hour. He talked about the Elite, Kenny Omega, and of course the Death Triangle match, and brought up the fact that the Lucha Brothers, the Elite, they have had an ongoing feud, going past the form of AEW, and he brought up their matches in 2019 with the ladder matches, and then the Elite and the Lucha with the 2021 steel cage match, and how those matches were really legendary. He also brought up the Pac Omega feud and said that had also been going on prior to AEW, and who could forget their match of 2020. He also brought up the subject of Toni Storm being the interim women's champion, and as much as she's been, defending that title and, how great of a champion she is, what about Thunder Rosa? It's been said that Thunder Rosa will not be returning before 2023. Now, with that in mind, someone had asked him, well, do you think that you should make Toni Storm the champion, and whenever Thunder Rosa comes back, she could have access, to that title? He said it was a wait and see type thing because of her injuries. He didn't give an exact date of when she thought that she could come back. The other update that we got was that Ricky Starks was injured, and that he did not know if Starks was going to be able to compete against Lance Archer. He really wants that match. Starks wants that match, and whoever wins will face Brian Cage at 0 Hour, and the winner of that match will face Ethan Page at Dynamite next week. So that was a big bonus of the news. We also found out that Saraya did not know prior to signing with AEW if she was really medically cleared. And Tony explained that he had met with her several times. They had talked, and about how she could be an asset to the company if she was not medically cleared. And she told him that she felt that she could. And he just took her for her word prior to her signing. So that was good that it worked out that way. The other thing was FTR, the belt collectors. Oh my gosh, they've got all the belts, do they not? Well, as it turns out, those FTR is not, of course, on Full Gear. And there was questions brought up, why weren't they? Look at all the belts, and Tony had mentioned, well, they've been to AAA, they've been to New Japan, they've been defending these titles. It's not like they're not on TV. They've been defending them. And he said, but he's only got 3 hours of TV time, and you can't put everybody on TV time, And someone had asked about ROH and whether or not they had a TV deal going, and he said things were looking good with Time Warner, that the last 2 ROH pay-per-views were better than anything ROH had ever done in the past. He said that he wants to create more shows. Now, he didn't say if these were ROH shows, AEW shows, if they were completely different shows. He just said that he wanted to create more shows. And the ironic thing is that he said that Ari Fox, he had actually met him during the Dark tapings at Universal Studios in Orlando. And him and Fox were talking, and he liked a lot of Fox's ideas. And he thought how well he would work out with Top Flight. So that's why he booked Top Flight and Ari Fox together. And he said, you know, the one thing that the Dark tapings in Orlando do, it takes them back to when they were at Daly's place during the pandemic. And of course, Deborah and I have talked to you guys about that, how special those times were. And it was like, almost sometimes you felt like you had a one-on-one show with these guys. So that always will hold a special spot in our hearts. And the other thing that he brought up, and I don't think he really wanted to, and he didn't bring it up, people kept writing in, was about him and CM Punk. And did he know why didn't he react during the media briefing at the last pay-per-view? And he said that he had so much on his mind because after CM Punk, he had Swerve and Keith Lee, and there was something that he needed to speak to them about and bring out in their part of the conference, along also with Tony Storm. And he said that there's not a lot that he can say about the details of that investigation or anything that happened then. And then another person asked him if they thought that CM Punk was going to remain in AEW, and he said that he could not talk about any of that. He also talked about Regal Theaters. We're going to be at Regal this Saturday to watch Full Gear, and how that was another source of revenue with AEW. I never quite thought of it that way. You know, you have the pay-per-view money, and then you have the box office money, or now you're going to have the theater money. The ironic thing, he said, though, is that the one drawback from having AEW in theaters is that when you get a big movie blockbuster like Wakanda Forever or, Black Adam or whatever, it takes spots away from being able to show these things in the theater. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, and sorry this is so long, but there was a lot of stuff I had to cover. As always, bye for now.